What's going on, everybody? It's me coming to you live out of Hog Holler. Well, not really. Coming to you from the graveyard. Everybody wants to know why you shoot most of your videos in the graveyard. Well, dead men tell no tales. They can keep secrets about as good as anybody I know. Plus, they're the only ones I really trust. I don't really want nobody knowing who I am. Could cause me to lose a lot of friends around here. I got a lot of friends who own businesses around here and stuff, and make money off tourists and tourism. And they thought I was on here in any way saying anything bad about the goings on around here. Well, it'd just be awful. I'd be scaring people out here. So money's a big, big deal. I guess it is everywhere, but around here it's a big deal. Anyhow, I've got a few videos on my phone I've not loaded or downloaded, uploaded. One thing about it, I get to telling the story. Or just write a book one day. I get to telling the story, and the time I get done with the video, I find out I've left 50% of what I was wanting to say out of it. But if I don't hurry it up and tell what I got to say, if the video gets to be anything over 15 minutes long, well, it will never upload, ever. I mean, it just sits there and spins, and I've got good connection, good service, but nope, that's it. So I just try to keep them right there as I can. I've got a few videos on my phone right now, but I've left so much out of them, I've not uploaded them. I was going to redo them. One about my house my uncle lived in, and I'd still like to make it to the Whispering Woods. I hate to tell that story without being able to get in there and show that place. Just wouldn't be right. Don't know that I can get in there, but I'm going to talk to you today. Talk to you about, I guess in my last video I uploaded, got a lot of people, it struck a lot of people the wrong way. Most people liked it. But I gave people full warning, you know, when I'm on here talking to you, you know, I'm talking my beliefs, and if you want to believe how you want to believe, that's fine with me. I can be friends with anybody. You know, I don't force my beliefs on anybody, and I wasn't trying to, and I don't want nobody forcing theirs on me, and I don't judge people for their beliefs. I ain't like that. So kind of talked about the light last time. This time we'll talk about pure evil. The evil that's in these mountains that people don't know about, and people don't want you to know about. When you come to this part of the country, they want you to bring your billfold and a smile, and they don't want you to know anything that goes on around here that ain't just happy and cheerful. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good things that happen around here, a lot of good people. But you get off on these back roads and you get off on these trails, it's a small town. It's a big town as far as the one road goes, the parkway coming in and out. But when you really get to poking around and you get on these back roads, you find out exactly how small a town this is. And it used to be a whole lot smaller. And the reason that there's so much evil things, I think, around here was a long time ago. There wasn't a whole lot to do around here. There wasn't a lot for people to do. And they would get bored, and they'd have these cults. And they knew how to do it. These old people that lived around here, some people called them conjuring women. Most people knows them as witches. They'd pass this stuff on. So everybody around here knew somebody that had somebody in their family one time that knew how to do this or that or the other. And you go to some of these places long enough, and you hold these rituals long enough, you open up a door, you let something cross in from the other side, and you wished you hadn't have. Anyways, that place that I did the video on Shadow Ridge. The Indian friend of mine I talked to, he's one, he told me he think that's what went on there. That even the Indians knew there were evil. They knew enough to know that there was good and bad. And they would call upon evil to help them. Just as they would good to help them. They'd call on evil. Don't ask me why. I don't know. Maybe it was an evil deed they were doing. But they would call upon evil spirits. And they'd have these seances, so to speak. They do a lot of stuff around here, and I think that's opened a lot of doors in these mountains, these back trails and stuff, those places that the Indians won't go. There's a lot of places. I just thought I heard somebody sneaking up on me and turned around, and sure enough, there's somebody walking right beside me. My Indian skills kicked in. Swing over here. Yep. How about that? But there's evil everywhere as you go around here. And, you know, when you get to thinking about Dennis Martin and some of these other people that disappeared, what was done in some of these places to conjure up such evil? You know, those places that, like I was telling you, that the Indians wouldn't even go. Here way before we were. And they knew these places were evil. Don't know how they knew, but they knew they were evil, and they'd stay away from these places. And I can go to some of these places today, and if nobody told me that, I'd still know there's evil. I could just tell it. The trees are twisted and dead, and there's a smell of something in the air, and you just get this feeling. It's just evil. And it's in these mountains. And I'll tell you what, man, if you step off the trails, you go hiking with your buddies and stuff, it's almost like it just waits for you to step off one of these trails by yourself. You do come here with your family or whatever, make sure that y'all you do stay together and stay with each other. It's not no joke. All these people disappearing is no joke. It's nothing to laugh at. These people disappear and they're never seen again. There's a lot more people disappear than what's being told. A lot of people are undocumented and in this country, and when they go up in the park and they like to hike and they get off the trails, well, you know, their family just can't really go and turn and ask for help. There's a lot of people that go missing that's not documented. The little Gibson girl, you know, they tried to decide that she left with her boyfriend, was what they told the public around here and what they told the tourists. But 5 years later, they went looking for her again. So if they actually thought that, why would they turn around and go look for her again? So you get back in here. I remember me and my buddy, we'd went coon hunting one night, and we was trying to find his dogs. They was out somewhere, they wasn't barking. And we'd walked ways, good ways. We was in part of the woods we wasn't real familiar with. And we got way back in there now. It's on down in the night. It's late. And you could hear what sounded like drums off in the distance. If I had to describe it, I'd describe it as war drums, very faintly. I said, "Jim, you hear that?" He said, "Yeah, I do." I said, "Well, quit calling your dog's name for a little bit and let's just walk and see what's going on." Because the first thing comes to my mind is, you know, somebody's trying to catch his dogs or something, you know, do something, shoot them. Just, you know, I wasn't thinking of evil at that point right then. So we got on following the way that the drum sound's coming from, and it was getting louder, and it got louder and louder. The next thing you knew, we could see where people had a fire built, come up on a little clearing, and we could look down and see this fire these people had built way back here in the middle of nowhere. And then the first thing come to my mind was, well, this is just another clan meeting that they're having. And you don't want to stumble up on those either. Trust me. They can see who you are, but you can't see them because they're face covered because there's a bunch of cowards. But that's for another story. But got closer and it looked like that's what it was, but they didn't have, no, they had a lot, like if I had to describe it, it looked like something like a monk would wear. But they was chanting something in some other language, buddy. And you talk about the scary feeling coming over me, and he got the same feeling, buddy, when we could hear them. I guess there's about 8 or 12 of them. I don't know how they got back there. Couldn't have drove back there. I don't know who they was, but you could hear them just chanting. It actually sounded like somebody talking backwards if I had to describe it. So, buddy, we took off, and when we did, I don't know if they heard us. It sounded like there was a herd of elephants running through the woods, because we took off, buddy. And next morning, I asked him if he got his dogs back, or if that was one of his dogs they had on the far down there. He said they all come home. So what do you reckon those people was doing down there? We went back at the daytime. Of course, we waited about a week or two. We went back during the daytime, walked back down there. There wasn't a whole lot there, but there was like a big, huge stick been drove in the ground. And then around it, a bunch of little sticks tied together and hanging in trees and all tied together. And there's some kind of writing on the ground that you couldn't make out. And then it looked like they stuck a cow's head on top of this one stick. Now, that's the craziest thing you ever seen. And needless to say, we didn't go back around that neck of the woods no more. But I also remember, I try to cut my video short. I'll leave a lot out. I left a lot out of that story right there. I remember when I was a kid coming up here, and it was on the evil side, or the bad side of this graveyard, right over here where we're walking now. We'll go over here. And I found a mason jar. And it was sitting on one of these graves. It was sitting kind of right in front of it. And you still find them today. I found one last year. And it's a mason jar. And it looks like it's just full of dirt. But I picked it up and shook it and looked at it. And I seen coins in it. And I brought it home. Because I couldn't get the lid off of it. I didn't want to break the glass up here in the graveyard. So I took it home with me. Because I thought, well, there might be all kinds of money in this thing somebody's dug up. I got that home. My granny asked me what I was doing, where I found that at. I told her it was up there at the graveyard. Somebody said it beside a grave. She said, you take that right back to the very grave that you got it from. She said, don't you break that, don't you open it or nothing. She said, that is put there. She said, that is witchery. I said, Granny, you're crazy. She said, look at the bottom of it. I turned the bottom over and shook and shook and shook. Sure enough, there was teeth in it. She said that people made them things back when she was young, and they put them on people's graves for different reasons. They'd have different curses on them. Some of them was blessings, some of them was cursed. She called it something. She knew the name for it, what kind of jar it was. It had a name. But needless to say, I brought it back and I put it as close to the grave as I can remember where it come from. I hope I got it back to the right one. I'm pretty sure I did. But I've seen some more of those up here. So if you're ever in an old graveyard or old cemetery and you see an old jar like that sitting, it's got dirt and looks like people's personal belongings in it and stuff like that, you better just leave it alone. Keep on going. But I've seen a few more of those up here. But anyways, I'll get off from here, load up a few of these videos I got saved on my phone, maybe retell the story. I left so much out that I've went back to stories that I've told y'all on here and listened. I thought, well, I've left the main part of that out. It's unbelievable. Of course, I don't ever plan my walks and talks. I just kind of talk to you as we walk, kind of unplanned. Usually if doing this, talking to somebody, you know, you ain't trying to hurry, number one, get it, fit it all in a time limit, and number two, people talk back and ask you questions, and we have a good old conversation. Maybe one day we can work it out like that. But anyway, to the people who on my last video, I believe it's my last one, who let me know they was atheists and they didn't believe the way I believed and everything, you know, I'm not mad at you. I'm glad you listened to my stories and everything, and we get along just fine. And I'll just tell you what my old uncle used to tell me, and I'll leave it at that. He used to tell the people that was atheists, he'd say, well, don't you worry. He'd say, there ain't no atheist in hell. They'd kind of look at him real funny, scratch their head. He'd say, no, once they hit that fire, son, they start believing real quick. Now don't you go unfollow me just cause you got mad. I'll catch y'all later.